Revelation 2385. From the 27th of June 1942. Teaching activity. No previous knowledge and study. No special previous knowledge is necessary if love drives the human being to instruct his fellow human being in order to win him for the kingdom of God. This is the highest and most beautiful goal the human being can set himself on earth, and for this intention he is certain of God's blessing and thus also of his strength, which enables the human being to engage in activity which serves the soul's salvation. Every spiritual striving is blessed, every prayer for spiritual good is answered, and every spiritual struggle takes place under divine assistance, and therefore every fighter of God will have to be victorious. Strength will always flow to him from God for every activity the human being wants to carry out for God and his fellow human beings. If he makes himself available to God as a bearer of the eternal truth, he will also be enabled by God to recognize the truth himself and then be able to pass it on. For divine truth cannot be taught by earthly teachers because it remains a dead word. As long as it is taught, until the human being has reached a certain state of maturity where the word comes to life. But once the human being has placed himself in this state, thus he has shaped himself according to God's will through active activity of love, he will receive the divine truth from God in all purity and clarity, and he will penetrate deepest knowledge without the help of people who have earthly knowledge. For he is filled by God's Spirit which reveals all knowledge to him and introduces him to the eternal truth. But this always requires a loving activity on the part of the human being towards his fellow human beings and the will in his deepest heart to help his fellow human beings out of spiritual hardship. Anyone who recognizes this hardship already knows the purpose and goal of earthly life and sees people's disregard for divine will. He knows about the dreadful consequences and is now driven by love to turn them away from fellow human beings. And this is the driving force of his striving to impart spiritual knowledge to fellow human beings. God needs such teachers so that, while respecting free will, people are indeed encouraged but not forced to change their way of life. Only the soul can benefit from every instruction which is transmitted from God to the human being and from the human being to his fellow human being. Only the salvation of the soul, which is in danger, shall be secured by these teachings. And thus a person who does not strive for worldly but only purely spiritual goals must offer himself for teaching activity. Only then can he carry out task and receive the strength from God to do so, which now consists of the ability to teach. For spiritual knowledge is not gained through regulated study but through a righteous life of love before God. Spiritual knowledge will come to the person who devotes himself to him in heartfelt unity with God, who wants to serve him and declares himself ready for every task which is meant for the salvation of erring souls. The Lord accepts him as a worker in his vineyard, as an instrument through which he himself can now work. For he is suitable for his task of imparting the knowledge to people which can cause them to lead a right way of life, which will give their souls the degree of maturity, that they will walk on earth in love again and live in the right knowledge and truth. And blessed are the poor in spirit, who have not lost all faith through earthly knowledge. For earthly knowledge is more likely to shroud the soul in spiritual darkness than to illuminate it. Earthly knowledge need therefore not be present where spiritual truths are taught. For in order to be able to offer the latter to fellow human beings, the Spirit from God has to be at work, and its working only depends on the human being's will, on his activity of love for his fellow human beings' salvation of soul. Amen.